Thank you, everybody, for coming. I think, as you all know, we want to give you the opportunity to update your websites as we continue to offer you some more sophisticated digital marketing opportunities. So take it away, Ron.
Awesome. Well, guys, gals, thank you for taking the time with us this morning. Really appreciate it. Know your time's valuable, so we'll try to move through the content quickly. If you do have questions, I have unmuted everyone, so you should be able to speak up. If you don't feel comfortable doing that, then just type in any questions you have. And Taylor from One Firefly, he's going to help us moderate here. And if he sees questions, then he'll make sure it comes to Laura and my attention. This past summer, Richard and Laura approached us about trying something new, a different way to maybe help everyone in Azione ultimately understand better or best practices with online marketing. And they came up with the concept of an audit, i.e. let's look at everyone's performance online and ultimately come up with some group data or group statistics. And so that's what we did. So ultimately what you're seeing here is a small sliver of a worksheet where we actually went through and audited every single Azione member as of this summer. And I'd say we had probably about a 99% success rate in terms of knowing the website to properly audit. I know there was one or two websites that were inaccurate, but for the most part, we were pretty good at targeting the right websites. And what we looked at were, in terms of establishing a grade, we went ahead and defined 12 parameters, and they are 12 good parameters that would justify a good online presence. They were not meant to be the end-all and be-all of your online performance or your brand presence as a business, but rather 12 good things to look at. That established a grade, an A through an F. And then we went ahead and looked at a couple of more parameters online that would ultimately give you some extra credit. So let's say you had a deficiency, your website hosting service did not have an SSL certificate for your website, but if you did have custom video on your website, then they would neutralize each other and you'd still have an A, as an example. So we went through that. It was a very large project. The result was we had some fun with this, and we made an old school elementary style report card for you. If you were at the event in Denver, then you received this in paper form. If you were not in Denver, then you received this digitally. So I guess first things here, is there anyone here that think they should have received a card and did not? Then raise your hand or let me know with your voice, or chat a message and we'll get you one today. So if you just let us know, otherwise you should have received this report card. It's also worth noting, this was not a scare tactic to tell you that you need a new website. In many cases, you do not need a new website. You simply need to fix some different aspects of the existing website that you have. So just keep that in mind as we go along here. Now, in terms of this grade, the group scored as follows. There were 26 A's, so yay if you were an A. 11 B's, 17 C's, 16 D's, and a whopping 132 F's. So Laura, what was your, maybe you and Richard and Karen, what were you guys thinking about these grades?
We had to go out for a drink after we got the report back. No, I'm joking, but we weren't entirely surprised. I mean, we're aware, part of the reason we asked you to do the audit is because we were aware that many of our dealers need to upgrade their website. So we didn't realize 132 needed to do that, but I'm glad we did it, and I'm glad we have the opportunity to upgrade them now.
And there were, believe it or not, one or two Azione members that did not have a website. And one of those that did not have a website actually purchased a website on Friday. So now I believe there's only maybe one company without a website in the entire group, which is, that's progress, right? So let's jump into it. So we're going to go through some of these, actually all 15 of these parameters, and then we'll go through what the group program was. And of course, and hopefully answer any questions that you might have. Delivering a first impression. This is kind of easy. I won't belabor this. Your company name or logo should be at the top of your website so people know they've landed on the right website. Most of Azione did a great job there. And then attractive imagery. You guys are integrators. You're working in residential or commercial projects. And it is helpful if you actually have imagery of the types of projects that you work on right there on your homepage. And that is, it has to do with the science that you deliver a first impression in the first 1/3 of 1 second. And if you have great imagery on your site, you're going to deliver a great first impression, and they're going to stay and ultimately figure out who you are and if you're somebody they want to do business with. Be easy to contact. This is the idea that you should, up in the header and the footer of your site, you should have your company website, or sorry, the company business address, and or language talking about the areas that you serve. Some of you are multi-location operations, and you may need to put multiple. You could put multiple addresses down in your footer, and then in the header, you could talk about the areas that you serve. This has to do with the principle online called NAP consistency, name, address, phone number, consistency. And so you want to help the visitors that are landing on your website that are maybe referred to you and they're trying to check you out. You want to help them know very quickly they landed in the right spot. You also want to help Google know that where you're located. And then if your name, address, and your phone number are accurately stated on your website, they're then going to compare that to all the different directory listings and your social platforms and everywhere where your company exists online to make sure that's consistent. And if it is, it's going to help increase your searchability online. So I was pretty poor across the group on that one. So you could take a look at your website. This would be a 5-minute fix. If you went into your website, put your address in the header and footer, then you're immediately going to be much more visible. Contact forms, 20%, let's just do the math. I guess that's about 40 of you did not have contact forms on your websites. So it is, you're making yourself harder to get in contact with. Some of you do that on purpose. You're so busy, you don't want to be contacted. But in fairness to the people that are checking you out, make it easy, put a form on your site. The tech is pretty easy today to do that. Let's see, is there a question? What is that? Brady, okay. No, I don't. All right, next one, project galleries. This one is a little disappointing in that about 40% of you do not have project galleries on your website. And an interesting statistic for you as we look across Google Analytics, across all of our client sites, if you have a project gallery or image gallery on your website, it will be one of the most visited pages on your website. Laura, why do you think that is?
Well, I mean, visually, people want to see the kind of work that you've done. And I mean, most people are going to your website and checking you out before they're actually picking up the phone or sending you an email. So the more visuals that you have, the better.
They're doing their research. They don't know you yet. Just remember that when they, even though you're referred often, they do not know you personally. They do not know your business. So they're trying to do as much of their due diligence online as they can. So when you have project galleries, you make it easier for them to know that you do the type of work that's similar to theirs. And therefore they make contact more quickly. Embedded online reviews. Oh, go ahead, Laura.
I was going to say that, I mean, the same thing holds true for your online reviews. People are, and we've talked about this before, but people are going to go and look and see what's been said about you before. So if you're managing them and they're good, and maybe you're using Review Champ or however you're managing them, if the more positive reviews that you can showcase, the better. So
here's a little fun test for you. You guys and gals are obviously thinking about marketing, or you're open to it, or you wouldn't be here. So here's a little test. Go to Google, open a browser window, and type in your company name. Nothing else, just your company name. And what you're going to see populate is any online reviews, because the way Google's algorithm's working at the moment, if you have online reviews with Google, Facebook, HomeAdvisor, House, Yelp, you name it, all of that stuff is going to the top of search. So you want to be mindful of that as I go and talk to people every day. Josh, also on our sales team, as he's here on the call. As we go and talk to integrators every day, many of them don't realize the internet's working that way right now. So, you know, I'm not talking about any fancy SEO stuff, just searching your name. Reviews are really critical. And so having a review solution is important. And if you have review solutions, then you can start embedding that into your website. And again, increasing confidence in your traffic, because now they can see what sort of positive reviews you have coming from the internet. Our solution for that is called Review Champ. All right, SEO configured blog. Now this was shocking. Would you agree, Laura?
absolutely.
So,
I mean,
go ahead.
no, go ahead. Go ahead.
So the concept behind a blog, you know, many of you go, well, you know, what the heck is a blog? I don't blog. I'm not a blogger. You know, this is beyond me. If you believe that your business is coming through referrals, okay, so I need some assumptions here. I need you guys and gals to believe this. If you believe that a lot of your work's coming through referral, and if you believe that those referrals are often, not always, but often going online and conducting some level of research about your name or your business, let's say you're a Lutron dealer, you're a Control4 dealer, they're looking for the best home theater installer in Houston, right? What is the hook or the type of search they're conducting online? And are you showing up, or is your competitor showing up when those results come up? If you believe search happens, then a blog is your best friend, because an SEO configured blog with regularly updated content or added content is the silver bullet. There's nothing that anyone will tell you, nothing that I will tell you or any other marketing agency will tell you, that is more powerful for earning online search ranking performance than an SEO configured blog and then regularly added content. That's why we have added here at One Firefly such a team doing that, because it is frankly so powerful. And you will so rarely see marketing agencies do that because it is so hard. So in the case of Azione, 27% have a blog. And then those of you that have a blog, only 21%, or actually this is of the total group, are actually updating it, in this case, in the last 3 months. So and
I think, and we understand that that's obviously because of the time, and we understand that our dealers are pressed for time to go in there and to update it. And so my advice is that when you're going to redo your website, perhaps incorporate the capacity to have a blog. But if you're not ready to, if you're going to have one, make sure you have a plan to keep it updated on a regular basis, whether it's twice a month, once a month, or whatever you can do to keep it updated. But don't leave it not updated.
Yeah, it sends the wrong signal. It just doesn't look good if someone visits your site and you have dated content and it was last touched 3 years ago. You know, it makes them
So, and I agree with Ron. It's an amazing strategy for SEO, but plan to do it when you can handle it. And if you can't handle it right in the short term, plan to circle back to it. And, you know, we have it on our list as one of the things that we can perhaps do as Azione to support our dealers too in the future. We recognize that, you know, maybe providing some content may be one of the ways that we can help support you all too. So that's something we're thinking about.
And I am noticing I've got 3 more people that have joined. I'm going to go ahead and authorize you to speak, but I'm going to ask you to go on mute and then just unmute yourself unless you have a question. So Lewis, I am allowing you to talk here and you're muted. And Brian, I am allowing you to talk. And one more, Huel, I am allowing you to talk. So all of you guys are muted. And if you have any questions, just go off mute and ask the question. Just keep in mind the whole group's going to hear you if you ask a question. All right. Now, as we go forward, be easy to find in search. Search engine friendly. So many of you may know that Google in 2015 changed the definition of what it means to be friendly. Search engine friendly. It's not my measurement of whether or not your website passes that test. It's Google's. So if you simply go to Google and if you type in search engine friendly test, and then in that page that will show up, type in your URL or copy and paste it. It's a pass-fail test. So either you pass it or you fail it. And if you fail it, it means that your website is being restricted from being shown in results from mobile devices. So whereas you might think your website looks beautiful, the reality is if it is not passing Google's test, you are getting significantly less traffic than you would otherwise. So you want to make that, you want to fix that. SSL certificates, the rules changed this summer. Let me go back, July of this summer, 2018. And now many browsers, I know Chrome specifically changed this in July. If you don't have an SSL certificate on your browser, and you know that by everyone here can go pull up their website, pull it up in Chrome. And in the left-hand corner, if you see, and here, you know what, I'm going to do this real quick. So I'm going to go here. You see up in the corner, you see this padlock, and you see how it's closed. That means, and then you see HTTPS. The S means secure. So my website has the SSL certificate. All right. So you want to make sure your website has the SSL certificate. If it does not, then when people bring up your website on their browser, often they're getting security warnings that your website is open for security breaches. And you're going to have some people that simply choose not to visit your website.
What is the cost associated with adding that certificate? I'm just curious.
There's no cost to buy it, but it does have to be processed, and generally your website host would process it. So for example, if you're hosting with One Firefly, we did it automatically for all of our clients when that rule changed. If you're not hosting with us, then you want to go to your website host, and generally it's a quick process. You could be done in a day or so.
Okay.
XML sitemap. I won't belabor this too much, but there are certain techniques, such as a technology called an XML sitemap, which you want to live in the footer of your website. And what happens is you register that with Google Search Console, what used to be called Google Webmaster Toolkit. They recently changed the name to Google Search Console. And you want to register that. And basically that's telling Google what content on your website you want them to crawl. And that's going to make your website more visible. I had a website meeting this morning with an Azione member, and we went through this long education on SEO. And should he SEO the site? Should he pay the thousands of dollars to do that? And I made the point, I'd rather you have a smaller website that is findable on the internet than having a bigger, beautiful website that no one knows how to find. So just think about that. If your website is not SEO configured, people will only land there if they type in your URL, which means they have to have your URL. If you're SEO configured, now they can conduct general searches and your website can be shown in search results that they then could find. So that's just something to think about. Only 25% have that Azione, and then site has relevant page titles. So that tells me that 73% of the websites, 150 of them, have had some effort or approach to SEO, because a page title is a component of SEO. So, and I'm going to give everyone here a really quick demo of how to test that for yourself. Let me go back here. How do I get to that browser? There it is. So I'm back on the One Firefly site. And if you're in Chrome, if you take your mouse and go to the tab where your website is pulled up, and if you simply mouse over the page,
Hey, Ron, you're on mute.
got it. I was on mute. Thanks, Taylor.
There we go.
So what you guys can see here, I pulled up JW's website. He's an Azione member out of Charlotte. And if you simply mouse over the tab in Chrome, you're going to see what's called your page title. So as I go to different sections of content on JW's website, you're going to see different pieces of copy show up. And so what you want to do is you want to make sure that those page titles are configured to ultimately aid you in your searchability online. That's just one of many steps of an SEO configuration. Lastly, these are our extra credit pieces. Embedded custom video, only 27%. Why do you want video? Because when people land on your website, you want to give them content. You want to give them content to consume that keeps them on your website. The longer they are on your website, the more likely they're doing research and ultimately would make contact. Live chat. Live chat is still only on a very small minority of websites around the industry. And live chat is an awesome way to exponentially increase lead gen, A, and B, increase your customer service to your clientele. So you're making it easy for people that visit your website to ultimately get their questions answered. And because these things pop up, you're now significantly increasing the number of people, because who's on your website? Lots of people, but many of the people that are conducting research to ultimately decide, do they hire you or do they hire the next company? So live chat's a big help there. And then interactive content is also a great type or a great way to keep people on your website. And so many of you have seen like Matterport. If you ever look at realtor.com and different realtors are using Matterport, the 3D walkthroughs of homes. Well, there are now integrators doing Matterport that have integrated Matterport 3D walkthroughs of their finished projects. And they're pretty awesome. There also are just some different virtual rendering products that One Firefly has that serve that purpose. But that's the concept there. Now, also, there is a third-party service. So if you want to go and see a non-One Firefly grade on your website, you can simply go to HubSpot and go to Website Grader. HubSpot Website Grader. Drop in your URL, and they're looking at you on far fewer data points, but you're going to see some of the same facts. They're going to look at security, SEO configuration, page load speed. They're going to look at some factors that are going to help you come up with a quick measurement of your website. And now the promotion. So now through November 7th, we did agree, One Firefly did agree to do some extra incentives to ultimately try to get you guys to make some improvements online. Again, there's 132 Fs. We'd like to see 132 As. If the group hits 10 orders of website and SEO, that's the first milestone, then we're going to take the normal 5% discount on a 6-page website and or SEO, and we're actually going to bump that up to 15%. So we're giving the group, it'll be retroactive on the order, an additional 10% discount. Again, if you go up to 20 and 30, then it'll be 20% off and 25% off. And then we went ahead and threw some extra carrots in, and that was our smart layout product, which is normally $330 a year. We're giving the group a free year of that, or the group, all of the customers that are buying as a part of this promotion, a free year of that. And then also, the next tier gets Review Champ for 3 months. The next tier also gets Lead Concierge. Those just are additive. What does that mean in terms of savings? Why would you do it right now versus next month, for example? Well, actually next month. Let's say, why would you do it now versus December or later in November? So a normal 6-page website with SEO is $6,200. This Azione gets a discount of 5, 10, or 15%. So on a small website of 1 to 8 pages, you'd get a discount of 5%. That equates to $59.38. And then you can see if the group hits 10 orders, 20 or 30 orders, that brings that price down from 62 to 53, 5, or 4,600. So you can see the group is going to save an additional $600 to $1,200 on a 6-page website, which is pretty cool.
It's a great deal.
It is the most aggressive discount you'll see from One Firefly. Now we're going to look at what are the reasons why would you do a website with One Firefly versus on your own or with someone else if you think you need a new website or that's where you're headed. Ultimately, we only build websites for this industry. I'd say when we do surveys, we always do surveys with any of our clients after projects are finished. And what we hear people rave about, most importantly, are our people. We have an exceptional team here at One Firefly. They only work with integrators every day of the week. And so we understand you guys are very busy. You have very limited time to work on marketing projects. And so we have a lot of process and project management implementation tools in place so that we can move you through the project in an expedited manner, make it easy for you. We can use your images, we can use our images or manufacturer images. We can use our copy or we can use your copy. And then we did, at the request of Richard and Laura, we did create an Azione only model. So if one of your reservations are, I don't want one of the models that someone else in my marketplace has, then we've designed a model that no one has. So this is an Azione exclusive model. If you're interested, I'll go through it in more detail with you one-on-one. And this is available exclusively for Azione. You will not see this on anybody else's website, which is kind of cool. We also, let's say that as you're looking at your report card, some of the factors that need to be fixed are not your website per se, but some of these other factors. You don't have embedded reviews, or you don't have live chat, or you don't have custom videos. One Firefly has a number of just simple monthly based services to resolve many of those issues. The reason we created the products because we observed these issues existed in the marketplace. And we try to make it very simple to engage. So if you simply want to try these things out, drive it before you buy it or whatever the other cliche it would be. 2 free months, no strings attached, no contract. Try the service out. You can check out all of these services in much greater detail on our website. And it's pretty simple. It's 2 free months. And if you like it, then at that point thereafter, you'd be paying for it. And we do have the landing page, onefirefly.com/Azione. I think many of you know that. That's why you're here, because you probably went there because Laura pointed you to that page. And then this was our last webinar. So I think at that point, we'd open it up for questions. And Taylor, if you could help with any typed in questions and read those off.
Yeah, you got it. Looks like, Ron, we've got a question here. Someone's asking you about the SEO setup. Looks like they've got a decent, if they have a decent website grade, they were considering the SEO setup. Can you speak maybe a little bit about what they could expect with that product?
Yeah, so it's actually a good, healthy number. It's a good question. A good, healthy number of the SEO configurations we do are for websites that we did not build. So actually, we just had Murray from Future Home Theater, Azione member, signed up for that just in the last week or so. And so the idea there, let me go back to the front page here of this Duopi. Here we go. We can go to your existing website and we would take you through our process of, starts with SEO discovery, where we would define the services, solutions, and the brands that are most important to you and how you might show up in search. And then we would look at the cities that you'd want to do work in. We would create an agreed to set of target phrases. You'll see them from many marketing agencies called long tail search phrases. And then we would go about implementing them into the existing website. So you'd really look at website SEO or SEO as a high level topic addressed one of two ways. You either SEO configure the website, and or the way One Firefly approaches it, we can on an ongoing basis produce SEO configured blog content for the website. And that is create original authored content. It's original to the internet. It's not repurposed content that you would find anywhere else. And when you write it around an SEO target strategy, SEO configured into the website, what you get, and I'm going to show you very quickly. So let me pull up the right browser. Well, if I can find my right browser, give me 1 second. There we go. So if I come over here and move this guy out of the way, then I'm going to pull up our SEO dashboard. And so for example, let me do this alphabetical because I'll pull up JW. So ultimately, we're then able to produce graphics with data that ultimately help you understand all the ways that you're found in search. So for example, if I do control for dealer, Lake Norman is kind of a northern area of Charlotte, and luxury communities live up there. So if I come up here and type into Google, control for dealer Lake Norman, if I can spell North Carolina, and I press enter, what you're going to see, there's paid ads. Right now, One Firefly doesn't really support doing paid ads in Google. We're not big believers that that's the right strategy for most integrators. But if you go right below that, look what you find. Organic position 1 on page 1, the integrated home. And this is coming from, and look, in this case, this result is coming from a blog. He's also in position 2. He's also in position 3. Position 3 is coming from his website SEO configuration. So that's where the two ways One Firefly does it. We configure your website. That's method 1. That's a one-time fee, one-time service. Or on an ongoing basis, we're producing content. So here you can see he's in position 1, 2, and 3. What's also kind of neat about that is you see these stars. These stars are coming from his website, and that is coming to go to his website real quick. And that is coming from the Review Champ service, which is embedded into the footer of his website. And the really nice side effect of Review Champ is that now, because of the rich snippet code, that aggregated online review score populates in the organic result. And so that's a way to really significantly increase the organic traffic into the site. So hopefully that answers it. That was a bit of a long answer, but those of you that know me know I can give long answers. I'll try to keep it brief.
We've got another question. Yeah, someone asking, saying that they host with GoDaddy and wondering if One Firefly hosts, do they have to switch? What would be the value, et cetera?
Sure. So actually, I went into that this morning with Steven, Azione member from Audio Video Evolution out of California. So you do not have to host with One Firefly, just to be clear. You guys, one of our principles, we build on an open source CMS platform called Joomla. I do that because I want you to be in control of your website when you're done. I don't want you to be tied to me in any way, shape, or form. You're going to keep using One Firefly because you like the experience and like the service. If you don't, I know that you're going to leave. So that also goes for hosting. So you can launch your website and host with us, or you can launch wherever you want. Now, that said, I'm going to tell you to keep in mind a couple of critical factors. You're on an open source CMS called Joomla, which means you are going to be attacked by viruses and malware, which means you have to keep your website security patched. When you host with me, I automatically security patch your website. When you host elsewhere, they will not automatically do that unless you've paid for that service. So that is an elevated type of service. It is not what you find on a $10 a month GoDaddy account. They are not updating your Joomla. Number two, I back up your website every week, 4 consecutive weeks, and I keep them off server. So that if something happens to your website, I can take a clean copy, resurrect your site, and you're back online quickly. Other hosting services will not do that for $10 a month at GoDaddy. You're going to have to pay for third-party hosting backups. So you're going to want to do that. And then lastly, if you host with me, I guarantee your website against virus and malware. If anything happens to your website regarding virus or malware and it's infected, I agree to fix it at no cost to you. So if it breaks because someone infiltrates your site, I take ownership of that and I fix it. You don't pay anything. When you go and host third party, they will not offer you that guarantee. And when you are infected, and if you're not security patched, you will be infected. And when you're infected, they will most likely clean it, charge you to clean it, and then you will be infected again, because if you don't start security patching it, you're just going to keep getting infected. So as long as you comparably protect your site and back it up, you're going to pay about the same you would if you're with us. But you can do that third party. That's your decision. Hopefully that answers that one, Taylor.
Perfect, thank you. We got one more question. It looks like, Ron, here. This person's asking about the time. If so, they said if they do sign up for a website, when can they expect that to potentially be live?
Sure. I think I have a slide on that, right? There you go. It's the One Firefly. So our process from the date of the order. Now the order is not when you give us money. The order is when we go to the next step and we spend the 2 to 3 hours to do the detailed specification for your site. So after you make a commitment, let's say today you go, yes, I want to do a site. I will happily accept your deposit and we will call you a customer. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to schedule the detailed scoping meeting. In that meeting, we're going to go through every single page of the site, absolutely answer all your questions, spend as much time as you need. Sometimes those get, I think I did a record one yesterday. It took less than an hour. Often they take 2 to 3 hours. And I've on occasion had them take 5 to 6 hours. But we take as much time as you need so that we mutually decide and define all the pages that are going to be on your new website. That's called your website order meeting. From that date where I actually have a work order, a specification, it's a 45-day production cycle. If you go with the Azione, what we're calling Model 6, we've invented that for Azione. So the reality is we've got a few more kinks to work out, probably making sure mobile refinement and everything is perfectly polished. I haven't done hundreds of sites where we've worked out all of those things. So we're adding a couple of weeks to the production cycle. So if you do Model 6, it'll be 60 days. If you do Models 1 through 5, it'll be 45 days. And if you are expedited through the pre-production process, is a potential. It could even be done quicker than that. But typically, you know, we've got some common allocations of time for the different phases of the project. Only when we've collected all of your logos and your project imagery and all of those details do we bring that over to our web team to then actually produce. The production only takes about 10 days. So it's really a lot of the preparation beforehand and then the gathering your feedback and the refinement on the back end that take, you know, the majority of the time.
But Ron, so the process for the dealer's involvement as they do this, they're going to come in and do this intensive meeting with you. And then, but after that point, the dealers come back, our dealers will come back and review the work, approve it, or give feedback.
That's
But
right.
it's pretty light-handed after that, would you say? Or
The hardest investment of time, or the biggest investment of time, is upfront in the web order meeting. That's the biggest chunk of time to work on the project.
Okay.
But that's cool because that's when you're most excited, right? You just bought this beautiful new site. So you're ready to go. You roll up your sleeves. I scare the socks off you in that meeting, and we have fun and we specify it. And after that, we're just either you or you dedicate someone on your staff that's going to be our project management liaison, the person my staff can liaise with to make sure we get all your stuff, your testimonials, your project images, you name it. It depends per page, what pages are on your website. That dictates ultimately what we need from you. But I mean, we're very much optimized to get your website done in an expedited manner. For those of you that are already my customers, I see some of you here, that we try to communicate as often and frequently as possible to, ultimately so we can get the job done, but without being a burden. So we got to walk that fine line. But that's how I can openly commit. We deliver a website in 45 days. If you were to go to an agency in your town that builds websites, that project will at minimum be a 4 to 6 month project. And they will often require copy from you, and they will often require imagery assets from you. If you don't have those things to give, I can still turn out a beautiful website. So that's, that is the benefit of us focusing on this space, is that we're really optimized to do marketing for this space.
That's great. And I mean, if we're trying to arrange the timing now so that once you commit in early November, that, by first quarter 19, you're up and running for the year, which is really nice.
That's right. Charles Jones, Matt, tell me you're alive. Are you here?
Yeah, I'm here. I was just getting ready to text because I didn't think it'd be relevant to the whole group. But with Smart Care in the group, and since you've already done our site, I was thinking that maybe to participate in this, I could add a couple pages to maybe, but I don't know how it works, if it would be a sub site. But we're thinking about doing a kind of a full dive into the Smart Care thing, but I'm not 100% sure that a nursing home is going to want to see an AV company show up. So I'm trying to figure out how to do a Smart Care themed sub-site or, a specific page.
Matt, fill me in. Maybe everyone here knows, but tell the group, what is Smart Care?
Well, they're Azione vendor members, but it's, in a really, really basic nutshell, it's a host of like maybe 5 or 6 different types of sensors in a PERS or a emergency response. They just monitor things like it has your elderly adult been in bed all day? Did they wet the bed? Are they taking their meds? Things like that.
Okay, so it's a subscription-based service that you would ultimately,
like an alarm system. Yeah.
Right. So what I would propose, and I'm just going to bring up one of our I'm going to bring up, let's see here. There's the website. So I'm going to bring up model 1 just as an example. So we've recently added a type of page, and Matt, I would bet you probably have not seen it. And that is a service plan page. So for example, this page could be themed around your medical Smart Care plans, and all of the details could be defined here. And we could furthermore do a dedicated landing page defining what that service is, right? So you could have within your main site architecture something that says Smart Care, and then on the Smart Care it says C packages, and on the C packages that could then land over at the packages page, where you could go as far as then connecting that to a page where it transacts. And if you wanted to even build in an e-commerce component, we've been doing that for clients.
I was just going to ask that question.
Yeah, so we have a turnkey e-commerce solution in place already for these pages. We've been Actually, you know what? It may. Taylor, is it live on JW's page?
You know, I don't know offhand.
Yeah, so JW is actually one of our clients that's been in the R&D process of us connecting the plans page. Taylor, I'm not seeing it, so if you could look at that,
Sure.
let me know. I know there are some other sites where that is live. And just a side note, and this is only because this just happened yesterday. I know HTA is a friend of Azione, and we just finished designing our Azione landing page. So if you have a One Firefly site, we're actually going to be selling everyone this page on their site with SEO configuration at half price now through the end of November. This page just went live yesterday. So you're going to see, if you're an HTA member, you're going to see communication from Josh talking about this page. You know, obviously getting people over that budget calculator tool is a big deal. So that just happened.
Great.
Cool. And thank you for the question, Matt. I appreciate that. Does anyone else here have any questions for Laura or I? Everyone's so quiet. Come on, I like unmuted you so you guys could speak. I'm gonna start calling on. Think I should call on people, Laura?
Maybe.
Let's see here.
It worked for me.
It worked. Yeah, it did work for you. And you had a good question. You had some. All right, I'm gonna call somebody. Brian from AVL Pro. Are you here? Everyone's gonna start leaving now. Like, damn it, I don't want to actually be called on. Oh, he's raising his hand.
An eraser.
What was that, Matt?
I said you're like a teacher that throws an eraser when you're
I
speaking.
am. I'm that teacher. If you've ever been in one of my, you've been in my classes, Matt. I throw the eraser. I'm not shy about it. Well, I don't want to call anyone out. I don't want to make anybody nervous. So, Laura, I think we should wrap up.
Yeah. That sounds good. But please feel free to reach out to Ron or myself, send an email with any questions, and just be cognizant of the November 7th deadline for sign-ups. We'd love to have you a part of the program.
Awesome. And everyone, thank you for joining us. It was our pleasure to spend this morning with you. And for those of you that stuck around longer than the 30-minute session, again, which is, I think, everyone, thank you so much. And if you have questions, reach out to Laura directly or reach out to myself. I also have Josh. Josh is on our sales team as an account executive. Reach out to us. And we're also active on Azione Slack. So if you want to pose any questions there, if you're not using Slack, you should. It's an awesome way to interact with your peers and with your vendors. The Azione Slack is actually what got One Firefly into Slack. And now I run my whole company's internal communication on Slack. So thank you, Laura, and the Azione team. So on that note, then, everyone, peace out. Thank you so much.
Thanks, everyone.